If you feel lost, decreasing the barrier to entry is the only answer. And if you don't know how to enter, research is the first step to it. So whenever I feel lost, which happens in cycles, you get found, you get lost, ups and downs. We've discussed it. That's natural. So I'm not crashing out about it anymore. I'm like, okay, let me actually study. This is an opportunity to level up. Let's get more info. And I started studying. And where do I study always? On YouTube. So I started watching a lot of videos and I changed my algorithm completely. So I stumble across videos. First of all, I'm analyzing algorithms because obviously I create content, so it's important for me to understand how that works. And I'm not just doing one of those bullshit research. I'm researching and then I spend the whole day on YouTube and I just do nothing with this information. But I actually made notes. I actually studied what I watched and I psychologically broke down their strategies and analyzed their personal brand. So there was more intention in it. Anyway, I found this video, just a story that really clicked with me. Sometimes you need reminders of your credibility to do things. He just reminded me of what I went through. Let me tell you, that's a story. So he was like 18, 19, D1 basketball player. He was planning to move in that direction. He was really good at it. Did something to his ankle or whatever. Basically got injured and couldn't play anymore. So that career path closed. He started delivering food, just delivery driver, and he felt really unfulfilled because his dream fell apart. He couldn't do anything about it. It was outside of his control. Yeah, his heart was broken. His mind was in shambles. He cried in his car, in his source of income. And on one of those nights, he was just crying in his car and just surrendered. When someone asked me, actually on my story recently, someone asked me, what is your favorite wellness practice? Maybe you expected some shit like, I don't know, putting eye patches on my eyes and meditating for 2 hours. No, I just love crying and surrendering. I mean, I hate it in a sense. I hate the come up to the surrendering and crying. I learned to not suffer before surrendering and crying, but actually observing my behaviors, observing my thoughts, and understanding, okay, now it's crying and surrendering time. And I just place myself in surrendering and crying, instead of suffering, overthinking, hating this life, crashing out for a few days, and then surrendering and crying and solving it. No, just surrender and cry. You're going to figure it out. It's basically conversation with God. Pray. Praying is the answer. Anyway, without any religious stuff, let's call it surrendering and crying just so everyone stays watching this video because some of you are not ready. So back to the story. Bro was crashing out in his car, crying about his life being miserable and he couldn't do anything about it. He had no choice but to just do things that he's in control of, but he understood his potential. It all clicked in his mind. He had a realization that he is already the person who he always wanted to be. He realized that that circumstance didn't forever shift his trajectory and he was not simply in control of what happens next, but he was already the person who is fulfilled and successful and happy and rich and everything that he ever wanted to be. But it might be manifested in a different way that he expected. It might not be through the journey that he envisioned for himself. Because, he's not going to be an athlete anymore. D1 career is over. So he just cried and surrendered. He still didn't know what to do. He just had this profound realization. And that helped him in the moment. When you're crashing out and you just have this relief. It feels amazing. You're still heartbroken, but internally, somewhere deep in your heart, you already know that it's over. You already solved it, but you're still crying about it. You still need to release it. And so he solved this emotional issue by internally transmuting all the negative thoughts, all the anger, the crash out into hope isn't the right word. It's knowing again. Knowing versus belief. Made a video about it a few days ago. He transmuted the negative energy into knowing that he is already that successful person. His avatar internally didn't change. Basically, it's not the end of the story. It's not one of those manifestational magic tricks. Listen what happens next. Then in a few days, the car fucking explodes. His only source of income exploded. And I think he got injured again, because he was in the car when it exploded. So basically, bro got injured twice, and he couldn't make any more money. Then, fast forward, his sister calls him and says yo, there is this job offer, and they pay a lot, and it's a very cool job where people with qualifications, they couldn't get into it. And he was like, there is absolutely no fucking way. I have no qualifications for that. When he spoke to the person who was interviewing him, he knew that she didn't like him, but she basically just gave him the job. She didn't want to, but she felt like she was forced to. Like something was pulling her to give him the job, but he had no he wasn't supposed to get the job. Anyway, he gets the job and basically makes $200,000 per year. And he's like great at it also. He's like transforming the whatever company that is. Like he helped them a lot. He's an asset now. Just by realizing that you hold value and you are an asset, and not just telling yourself that, but genuinely making a choice of, I am surrendering to the fact that I am not in control of my circumstances, and what I thought would help me be fulfilled isn't fulfilling me. So I'm just crashing out right now and living in this, I am the person who is successful. So the world reshaped itself, literally, not just opportunities were given to him, the whole reality reshaped, restructured itself in order to put him in a position, exploded his car, give him calls, put him in certain rooms and in certain circumstances with people who didn't even like him, and still close the deal. That's insane. I reminded myself that I did the exact same thing multiple times and it works. And you know what I was about to say? I hope everyone realizes this and it will change their life, but it won't, because unfortunately in this world, not everyone is meant to experience the fullness of it, because it's difficult. Not everyone has the mind settings and not everyone wants it bad. But I'll just put it out there in case anyone wants to experience free will to the fullest with surrender to God. Basically, what you do is you decide, and then literally the world follows and gives you magically opportunities that you could never expect. So I was fed up with my life. The first time I did it, I think it was at 14. I was fed up with school, could not do it. We know the story. I told it millions of times. And I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not entertaining the system anymore. Educational strategy that they put upon me is not working for me. I feel caged in the system. I'm not a part of it anymore. I don't know how I'm going to figure this out, but I'm not entering this building anymore. So I filed some documents, spoke to a few people, told my parents, and I was out of that school. It's not like, I magically decided that I'm going to be successful. I stopped going to school and now I'm successful. No, it's just that my reality started completely deconstructing and falling apart. I lost a lot of things that I was associated with. I lost a lot of people I was associated with. I lost a lot of interests multiple times. I just watched this Joe Rogan episode with Chris, and they were talking about loneliness by the end of it. And I was like, oh, that's for me. So you spend your youth grinding alone. And the moment when you finally meet the people that align with the speed at which you're walking or running, the amount of work you put in, the values, the strategy that you use to move through this life, you arrive there. You're like, finally, I'm there. Someone understands me. And then you look back and you understand that you keep walking and it doesn't stop. And you thought you arrived, but then you still move and nothing around you is the same. And no one around you is around you anymore. So it doesn't stop. You can't control the speed. That's why it kind of feels quantum and magical, because you don't control most of it. In my video that I recorded on that bed in London during Fashion Week, I was talking about nothing for a long time, everything all at once. I said how you literally control only 10%, and that 10% is your decision. And then all the quantum little tweaks, the thoughts, the forces, the opportunities, the calls, the rooms that you will be put in, you're not in control of that. The timing, the space, nothing. You're just in charge of the music, essentially. You're just in charge of, okay, that's the decision. You just make choice. You just roll the dice and you make that decision, But then everything else is kind of like, just observe. Just observe and play it. And the response to this prayer isn't gifted to you in the form of the manifestation of what you asked for, but in the form of all the circumstances around you restructuring. And the word I don't say change, I say restructure, because to change, you have to reform. You have to die to be born. When you're praying for something, prepare for things to be destroyed. I just recently realized that I keep moving and the past is calling and I can't answer. I can't allow myself to answer. And I don't even want to answer, that's the thing. So yeah, alhamdulillah, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful and wonderful. Hurts so much, feels very heavy. I'm exhausted. Self-sabotage, old thinking patterns, everything is falling back. Everything is coming back into my mind. I keep battling it. I keep winning. Everything is good. Through wins, through failures, through falling back for a few days, coming back, crashing out, locking in, locking out. We're so back, okay? We're restructuring, reanalyzing, studying, making notes, and not repeating mistakes. I just wanted to make note of that again. The world reshapes itself constantly in response to your decisions. So you wake up and you wake up with the belief of who you are. You wake up with the belief that you were a high schooler who doesn't know their purpose. And so, you move through this life with this belief and you surround yourself with people who are as confused. You submit to a normal daily. And that's just how the world is shaped. The moment when your soul is dissatisfied with your reality, you will be forced to crash out like that guy did in his car. It's not even going to be your decision of, okay, now I'm going to change my life. No, it's usually one of those like exciting moments that you get after a new realizations that you're consciously sitting there and like scripting my dream life. What do I want to happen? No. Sometimes, most of the time, the most productive shifts happen in God-inspired, forced surrender and tears. Like you are not even in control of it. You're just crashing out uncontrollably. And that's what I love the most. Like you can't even fully control the tears rolling down. You're just so deeply exhausted that like your heart is crying. It's not you. And so that reshapes your reality because everything is being broken down internally without your control, which means that something new is about to be born without your control, just in response to your decision. And your decision can be rolling back to your old normal in order to comfort this pain, or you can pick a different decision of being the person that you always wanted to be, being successful, being healthy, being in love, and placing yourself in the future that you always wanted to live. Because the future is there for you. God is there for you, responding to your decisions constantly. And if it's giving you the opportunity to suffer, if it's giving you the opportunity to not be satisfied, the satisfaction is the sign that you are meant to move forward. You're meant to change it. It's not the sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're doing something wrong. Do something right. Just one decision at a time. Make the world reshape itself in response to your good decisions, not the other way around. And a lot of people do actually, make mindful decisions, and a lot of people are now on self-improvement and all of that. But the moment when they quit is when everything is confusing and nothing is really happening in the way that you expect. Like, yeah, things are changing, yeah, things are sort of improving, but you won't know the timing. I said you're not in control of time, space, and all the intricacies of the plan. You will be confused why these people are exiting your space. But the moment that you realize that the price that you pay for associating with the wrong people in your life is enough for you to be very picky and even more strict with the circle you surround yourself with, it's going to be the moment that you actually are ready to reshape your world in response to that decision. And that is like the full experience of that decision. It's not just talking about, oh, now I'm healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich, I am, No, it's so much deeper than that. It's your full heart submitting to a new identity. It's actually old. It's actually who you've always been. You knew that you were that person. Some people are just born with knowing of their greatness. Did Kanye ever doubt himself? No. Just channel people who you want to be like. Don't ever surround yourself with people who complain and people who don't want to see you win and people who always find problems in everything. And just don't ever fall back into thinking that you're not deserving of reshaping your reality into whatever weird thought that you have. Because why do you always, it's so easy to follow scripts that are sad. It's so easy. Why is sadness so comforting? Why is comfort always painful? And you want that pain. It's so strange. It feels like a hug. I don't want a hug that feels painful. I don't want that comfort of always staying the same, comfort of feeling free by making more comfortable decisions. Addiction feels freeing. It feels liberating. It feels like sexual liberation feels liberating for that exact reason. You feel like it's freedom until you're trying to quit. It feels like you're in control until you're trying to understand what is your value outside of showing your body. Ooh, it feels like you're in control of your cravings until you're trying to have the same feeling outside of this stimulus. Interesting. It's not even about this. Just went in a different direction for a second. Like, genuinely cry about it, suffer about it to the fullest, and pray for a moment of deep realization. Pray for a moment of reformation. Restructure it. Let it reshape itself in response to your decision. But first make the decision, and there's no going back after you make it. The car might blow up, you never know what's going to happen. Just fully surrender to it. And I really don't want this to sound whimsical. I hate all those magical Harry Potter, crystal girl fairy phrases, love and light. We've been there. We don't like that. We use our brains now. It's so real. It's so real. It's such a game. My favorite movies are like Interstellar and Lucy and everything that kind of reforms reality, and Matrix, and responds to reality outside of our understanding. In a sense, kind of like in that movie, everything feels like a movie. I love the feeling of my reality feeling like a movie, and I've experienced it multiple times. That's the most supersonic, crazy, divine, spiritual experience where I feel like the same thing is released in my nervous system whenever something is happening as it should. Like, something is so divine and something so spiritual and outside of the physical world, like it's beyond. I feel like when the plot divides itself and the paths kind of shift in a way where you have to make a decision and you make it, and it crystallizes, that crystallization of the new plot is that movie-like moment. And I love experiencing these movie-like moments. Oh God, every fashion week is like that. Not the whole process of the work there, because it's soul-crushing and exhausting, but specific moments, just specific scenes that I remember that felt like Interstellar. Like, so, like I could never imagine this, and this happened. Anytime I envision myself being in love, I feel like if you ever been in a relationship or been in love, you will know what I'm talking about. I don't even know what I'm talking about. We've all watched these movies and seen these scenes, but just this exact moment where everything is in its place and it's just like perfect for a second, not saying everything is perfect and like Disney shit, but it's just right. Like, you made a good decision. The plot continues, like this crystallization, just crystallize your decision to shape the world that you want. That's all I'm asking. All I'm here to deliver today. Yeah, you're always settling for some sort of world to be shaped in front of you. Just be in control, be intentional with it, and don't be afraid to crash out productively.